I'm going to be quite brief because we want to make sure that we get your Q&A answered. On my side, I joined the program in September 2013 after having spent careers of 7 years in the automotive industry in Renault and Nissan, where I developed strong skills in negotiations, audit, and team leading internationally. I've been working across Europe, Asia, South America, so that was the first amazing, great experience, which developed a core skills into quality and audits, which was very necessary for the benefit of BP later on. I then did an MBA in Cambridge for 1 year. I was interested at the time to broaden my horizon and, funny enough, interested into startups and marketing. However, within 2 months of the program, BP came and did a presentation of their FLP program there. And the energy that you could feel from the people and the presentation of the program was so great that I really strived for it, applied, and got in immediately. So the later 8 months of the MBA were more of a bit of, I won't say vacation, but straightening the area that would be necessary for the first roles that I would get into BP. So this first rotation happened to be in Castrol, where Hélène is working currently. I ended up being pricing manager for the international key accounts management team and for the Western cluster, so which is Europe, the western part of Europe. This opportunity was absolutely fantastic with Castrol because they've got what a team named the InnoVenture team. And at the time, they started to develop a new product, which was which is the Excel project. You can all find and Google it. It's basically it's a plug and play to replace your oil into your car. So even it takes 30 to 90 seconds to just change it. So it's like the cartridge that you've got into your printer. So a lot of new projects like that can be found in the innovation team, InnoVenture team, as well as the downstream and the venture team. Following this, for my second rotation, I wanted to discover a new business area, and I ended up into RBP, which opened my horizon towards the aviation industry, which I didn't have any background into, and in a role, as you can see, which is supply commercial manager. However, my responsibility covered the hedging program of RBP. Again, there, I didn't have any background in the subject. However, as everybody has been introducing, there's a very team spirit into BP. And I spend a lot of time learning on the job, and my colleagues spending some time to explain me the process. And from this teamwork, actually, it appears that a lot of items could be improved, and we totally reshaped the hedging model that RBP had. The hedging model that we had was covering commodity of a bit more than $65 million in terms of pricing risk. And every day, every month, volatility, as you've seen in the past 2-3 years, the volatility of the price of the barrel has been pretty drastic. So hedging was paramount in order to limit our financial risk. And the new methodology that we put in place, and that I created, ended up saving at least $2 million volatility in months. So here, what was absolutely amazing is that from an aspect that was running for, I would say, a decade, you had the possibility to influence and come with a better solution and provide immediate return for the company. And so that was my second rotation, which I ended up between January and February, and I did my handover. And I graduated from the program 3 months ago as a venture project manager. So referring back to what Nikki was speaking about, the digitization of, BP, the investment into low carbon solutions, as well as, the mobility is certainly in the scope of what I'm doing. I'm tackling that from the RBP angle. So the first deal that I got completed, you can all find in Google as well, is Victor. It's an app that you can find on the App Store, on your Android store, that allows you to book private jets for your vacation if you have the if you have the money for it. But what is important there is that we make those investments in line with carbon footprint. So when we decide to invest in a company, it's because it does have a digitization or a carbon offset footprint. In the scope of what I'm looking at, I had the pleasure as well to just touch very highly on Fulcrum, which is the solution that Nikki mentioned, turning waste into biojets. So the lesson that I get from the opportunities that the FLP presented is that a lot of it was made possible because people are willing to give you a chance to explore your subject. There's a real team spirit that allows you to succeed into the task that is provided to you, and you have the chance to influence solutions around you and be an agent of change. And I think that's the biggest lesson that I would like to transmit to you is we are, as FLPs, agents of change. We're coming from other companies with other backgrounds, with different ideas of ways of working that could, build up what BP is already made of. And the value that were presented are strongly at the core of how everybody is working. And I could experience that in any roles I've been going through. Very, very human team. And this is the reason why I did apply for the FLP. It was to have, a bit of a safe environment where you could push yourself, where you could explore new subjects, and as well, build a real network within the company. And the FLP network is just priceless and so helpful, either in your rotation or in your everyday job. Even if you have a question and you're struggling, you can safely go to one of your peers and just ask them to get input. The other item that I would to highlight is mentoring. For sure, you've got a mentor, but a lot of people are very open inside the company to have career discussions with you about their own path, or even advice that they could have for you, or even share their own network. So everything is around networking and making most of this. There's a strong as well base about self-learning, online training that are available, and that the FLP allows you to do. The global event is amazing. So I had the chance to do 2 face-to-face, 2 offline, and you'll get a lot of input from there. Finally, before going to the Q&A session, so we have at the FLP community a little team that named the Ambassador Team, to which has been the convener 2 years ago. So among ourselves, you elect a team, and you elect a convener that makes the link with the HR program. So purpose being to ensure that the communities stick together, to prepare these global events, to feed back to HR team, the needs from the community, and to help shape and make it evolve as well. So that's a fabulous thing that I would advise everybody as well to try to experience. So I am going to stop here now. I try to be very concise, and we'll take your Q&A. Thank you.